What's up everybody, welcome back to the YouTube channel. We have a different style of video today. So we are going to introduce some more shorter form education style videos where we're going to sit down, I'm going to talk to you guys and we're going to break down, we're going to start with the basics of bodybuilding, some foundations that you guys can think about, some things you may be overlooking, some things you may have already known about, but I think it's very, very important to establish a baseline of those key factors in bodybuilding. So first up, we got protein, the bodybuilding macronutrient. We all need this. We know that it is the foundation of growth and repair, recovery and repair. We know that protein needs to come in order for protein synthesis to happen, which is the synthesis of new muscle. We can start off with the basics. How much protein should you be having? So we know from research pretty much between 0.7 to 1.5 grams per pound of body weight is going to be spot on. Obviously, if you're more heavily muscled, if you are more inclined for more protein, if you prefer more protein, potentially if you want to be more satiated with protein, because we know that protein is very satiating, you'd move that towards the 1.5. If you're someone who's smaller, perhaps you're female, perhaps you've got less tolerance of protein, maybe you have some digestive issues with protein, maybe you just don't like eating so much meat, maybe you don't like eating so much protein, you'd go towards that 0.7. 0.7 generally works out about the minimum that you want to do to be able to get the enough recovery, enough synthesis of new muscle from that protein. It's neither here nor there between that 0.7 to 1.5. I generally would say if you are an athlete, if you are someone who is under more stress physically than someone else, you probably got more protein demands. If you are an Olympic athlete versus someone who casually goes to the gym, you can imagine that an Olympic athlete has a little bit more demand for protein. So that's something to consider there. For me, I'm 245 pounds, so I have just above, I have about 1.3 grams per pound. I have 300 grams of protein because I'm more heavily muscled. I'm using steroids, so I've got more protein turnover capability. I train really, really fucking hard, and I've generally got a bit more of a protein demand. That's the basics of how much protein that you should have when. Generally speaking, we would like to break up those protein servings every 3 to 4 hours. Now, the reason we wouldn't have them any shorter is because digestion would actually have to take place, or not have to take place, but it's more beneficial if you're clearing your digestive system before bringing something else in, especially when it comes to protein, as we know that it's going to take a little bit of time to digest, it's going to take a little bit of time to move around the body, and we've got to obviously give the body enough time to do that. So generally speaking, we like to say anywhere between 3 and 4 hours apart, regular protein servings based off that first total that we worked off. So we can use me 300 grams. I know that I've either got to have 6 meals of 50 grams or 5 meals of 60, 4 meals of 75 plus grams of protein. Those regular servings of protein are just going to deliver those essential amino acids to your body to spike muscle protein synthesis. Muscle protein synthesis will not happen without protein. It will not happen with a full spectrum of amino acids, especially the essential amino acids like leucine, for example, which is why often in a vegan diet, a vegetarian diet, if you're not having complete sources of protein where they've got the full spectrum of amino acids, you can sometimes miss out on that muscle protein synthesis. So if you are vegan, if you are vegetarian, you can literally just Google how to get a complete protein source if you're vegan, and you can pair things together that give you a complete source, which will spike that muscle protein synthesis, which is our goal. What happens if you eat less than 3-4 hours? Not much, probably some indigestion, probably won't use as much of that protein in a meal. What happens if you have 6-7 hours between meals? Not much, insignificant. These are very, very much marginal gains. Once you've got your minimum amount of protein to eat per day, that's all you really need to eat. I wouldn't recommend having it in one meal. I'd probably recommend it over 2 or 3 meals, just so that you can make sure you're absorbing most of it and you've got those little spikes throughout the day, if you're trying to gain muscle, that is, and then just staying on top of that. So there are different types of protein. You've got whey, which is pretty intelligenic. You've got casein, which is slow digesting. And then obviously you've got meat protein, but you've also got protein from rice, from oats and things like that. Like I said a little bit earlier in the video, I've got complete proteins and incomplete proteins. So those proteins that are incomplete, which will be those proteins that are in oats, in rice, in bread, and generally those we call them trace proteins because they're not full spectrum amino acids. I would say that you generally want to try and get as much of your total daily protein from complete sources of protein. So you want to be trying to get as much of that protein from animal proteins, from rice and beans mixed together, from whatever, hemp protein, from whey protein, from eggs, from all those things that you know have got those essential amino acids in them. Otherwise, you can, again, it's a marginal gain. I'm not going to say it's if you have 100 grams of protein from complete and 100 grams of protein from incomplete that you're not going to still get some benefit from that. I still think you will, but I think you get more benefit if you had more of that protein from complete sources. So that's pretty much it. We've got the amount that you need to take, you've got when you need to take it in terms of protein, and then you've got the complete and incomplete protein sources. That is pretty much it. Do you need whey shakes? No, you don't. It's just a very easy way of getting protein in. That's protein sorted. If you have any questions about protein, comment down below. We'll get them answered in either the DMs or in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed these short-term videos. Let me know, and we'll be back very, very soon. Peace, everybody. Bye-bye.